Hello, howdy, greetings and salutations. Disclaimer. This is an open discussion group for the edification and sharing of information. In this case, as you may have guessed from the introductory picture, our topic will be love magic and love spells. Very intriguing. My name is Suzanne, also known as Potess. You can call me Zan or Poe. Welcome to the show. Hello. Let's dive right into it. You may have seen examples of love magic and love spells in maybe practical magic and other examples. But why be here today? Well, maybe you have an academic intellectual curiosity such as myself, or with the limitations we've been experiencing with travel, maybe you've been unable to spend the quality time with your loved ones, your family, friends, and lovers. Maybe before these limitations began, you had a fallout with these people, or perhaps there's a tension growing with the person that lives with you, and you've tried everything. You're trying everything you can to improve the relationship, to help the relationship grow organically, and it's not working. You can look into love magic, love spells. We will also discuss the psychology behind it. So we can consider, is it magic or is it psychology or both? All right, to begin, let's dive into it. There are different tools and methods and things, different purposes for all of these things when dealing with magic and spells. The first, written, spoken, or thought spells. If you are a practitioner, you are familiar with this. You set the intention, perhaps say the intention. You may have some item or visualization to assist in order to make your wish manifest, in order to make it real, perhaps to give you a path. If this sounds familiar, there are many similarities to prayer. You're asking for a path, for assistance with a concern or a hope. Some say maybe it's in your head. Some say you're reaching for that higher power. I respect all paths. So it's all good. The next option, we'd be looking at dolls. I have mine for emergencies. I have not named this person. I will not gender this person. It's just for emergencies. When considering voodoo, please do research. Please use discernment when you do this research. There is a deep history. There are specifics and there are dangers. I have not done nearly enough research. I will not practice, but if I did, I have a very powerful one right here. This is my friend Pete. Seriously. His sister made this for me. I think it was for me, or I just happened to snatch it up in time. Pete exists. He did live in Los Angeles. He moved to Las Vegas. He's a singer, an artist, a free spirit. He knows karate. Lucky little. I don't get to see him much. It's an honor to be friends. I could do some friend spell, but honestly, I have the contact information. I have the albums. We're good. But man, made by the sister, that'd be some powerful voodoo, right? No, we're not, no. Charms. When I think of charms, there's the rabbit's foot. Basically, any item that may be associated with a spell or magic you're wanting to do, representative, that sort of thing. Something to assist. Here I have my bracelet from Vegas. It has different kinds of beads. Is there wood? Maybe plastic. I'm pretty sure there's a stone or two there. Stones. A special kind of magic. They have characteristics or attributes that can assist. They can amplify a spell. They can represent the person or intention. Most often recently, I would say healing. So we can discuss that a bit more later. Now, in discussing this, I am not espousing. I am not claiming to be an expert or that I practice or whatnot. I'm just saying this is an option. Moving on, amulets. Amulet could be like a pendant, a special, something special, different kind of representation. For example, in the Catholic tradition, there are necklaces with amulets or coin-like things that show a particular saint. St. Michael, St. Christopher, St. Francis of Assisi, patron saint of animals. That's a whole other show. But wearing these amulets can give the person a sense of protection, of connection, power. I don't know that I'd say power, but maybe confidence or peace. Just an example. Next one, Harry Potter fans, potions. Potion number 9. Brad, Daz 8 flashback to choir in junior high. Don't make me do it, please. I don't think Love Potion number 9 is a realistic depiction of how to and what for. Then again, Harry Potter, maybe. Well, let's think about it. I don't remember. Felix Felicitas? I don't remember what it was called. There was a potion for special luck for an entire day that I think Harry and Ron shared. The question is, depending upon the intention when it was made, the ingredients when it was made, was it real as a potion or was it a placebo? In the psychological tradition, a placebo is something that is presented perhaps as a cure, a medicine, a something, when in fact it is a sugar pill, when in fact it is technically nothing. So this shows, is the real thing effective or is it just the belief that is effective? They take the potion. I am all powerful. You cannot beat me. Oh, come hither. Confidence can make all the difference. And finally, there is ritual. I'm not going to think of Eyes Wide Shut. There are a variety of rituals. What is it? The Templars, the Catholic Church, various other churches. There's Universalist, Unitarian, even has their own rituals, and they are a variety of faiths, spiritualities. For me, my spirituality is personal. It is my connection to the divine. And sometimes if I feel a ritual is in order, I will do so. That is a collection of actions, usually spiritually oriented, in order to gain favor or forgiveness or accomplish or connect to a certain intention. For my mother, she was raised in church. She had her time away and decided that church was home for her. The rituals, the stand up, sit down, kneel, sing at this time, read at this time, peace be with you and also with you, brought her peace and fellowship with others and a connection to the divine. So she continues. Ritual can play a lot of different roles in one's life. Ritual can be spiritual or it can be your daily thing. Do you have some things you do first thing in the morning or last thing at night that if you don't get done at a certain time or in a certain order or just miss entirely, your perception is just blown? It's just, this won't work. My day's not going to go right. I won't be able to sleep right. That's also kind of personal ritual. That can go with personal story, personal mythology. These are other topics to discuss later, boys and girls. Let us look a little bit at the history. So the earliest records of love magic were around 2200 BC, erotic in nature from ancient Near East. From there, we can move towards ancient Egypt between 1100 and 1200 BC with their texts, with which we'd be a bit more familiar. But even more familiar, probably through our schooling, we have learned about the integration of these practices into Greco-Roman mythology and amulets. The Greeks, the Romans, which one came first? The Greeks created the mythology, the Romans stole it and gave them different names. This mythology explained the unexplainable, provided parables, stories, psychological insight, and if you dig deep enough, there's a lot of different importance there. Jumping forward to the Renaissance. The Renaissance was a time of great expansion of scientific and artistic knowledge and contribution. Let's see, Sir Francis Bacon, Shakespeare, talking about freezing chickens. It's been a while since I went to school. And I know, you hear the name Shakespeare. No, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Please don't. To be or not to be. I don't want to be anymore. I love Shakespeare. If you want a different perspective on the Bard and on the Renaissance, I highly recommend the Broadway musical Something Rotten. It is a comedy, and it is well done. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of Shakespeare, a great example, I know, shut up about Shakespeare. A great example of love magic and love spells can be found in the comedy Midsummer Night's Dream. That is a dream on acid. It is a comedy. It is madcap. And it was relatively recently done, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, Kevin Kline, and a myriad of others. I do recommend it. All right, and from Renaissance to present, practices still continue. They have changed a bit. We have developed different understandings, almost quantum application, but we'll get into that. In the early practices, these practices differed by gender. The woman, as the stereotype, was raised with domestic duties and the fealty, loyalty to family, to father, only to be traded off like chattel to a wedding bed, to a marriage bed, to the male. The male was free to do as he chose, to run around, and the prostitute, not being answerable to the social norms of domestic life, was also free to do as they chose. So we're looking at two different extremes. The woman may be very resigned and very trapped within that life, may not feel a sense of control. Rituals, magic, practices, spells may have given her a stronger sense of control, a sense of peace. There may be fear that the breadwinner, the male, may run off and not come back. So it may have been practiced in order to find a way to keep him, in order to look better, in order to perform better, whatever the case may be. This homebound, this family-bound form of love ritual would be philia style. Now, the Eros style for the men and the prostitutes, free of these limitations, was primarily concerned with sex, promiscuity, erotic misadventures. So there are different styles, even in the early days. Now, by the time of the Renaissance, the practitioners were much fewer. And so the practice was more expensive because the advancement led to the energies not being thrown everywhere. Instead, they were focused on the aristocracy, on the well-off, because the socioeconomic status was wide apart. The classes, there's the haves and the have-nots. Never the twain shall meet. So the have-nots would save and save and save and try to get assistance from the soothsayer. Try to get that connection to the higher up person to advance socially, to better survive in a time of Black Plague. These also, if the target actually believed in the system, they might change their actions. Now, the practice was supposed to be a secret. The uses were supposed to be a secret, but if the target learned of it, they might change their behavior towards that particular person. So this was an opportunity for the timid to approach the unapproachable. During this time, Christianity and Catholicism were also focused upon, and just like in the times of early Louisiana, when many practitioners of voodoo were brought to the Americas, there would be pressure on them to become Catholic. So what these voodoo practitioners did was combine them so that while they appeared to be praying to the Holy Mother, to Other Mary, to other saints, they were actually appealing to their cultural practices. So, in the time of the Renaissance, far before, we are looking at the use of altar candles for spells, of putting that special associated charm under the pew where that particular person of interest would usually attend services. Now, listening to this history, we see that the practice was largely feminine in nature. There are the witches. There are these secret meetings. There's the prostitutes. We have to acknowledge, if we look at this history, the power of the men in the society. And for a woman, a low-born woman, to find some unknown way of advancing socially, well, it must have been demons. It must have been the devil. She must be a witch. She has bewitched me. It can't possibly be a special understanding of psychology, which they did not yet have, which allowed the female to assist in the advancement of the relationship, to use psychological power over the men. So this advancement, they believed insatiable women, these insatiable witches, they must have gained this power through carnal relations, erotic relations, sexual relations with demons and devil. But the reality, according to some researchers, was actually that there were many young men who practiced magic, who practiced love spells in order to get that unattainable woman, the one on the pedestal. So having advanced to present, we see the example again in something like practical magic. So let's get into it. What are the do's and don'ts today? What is the perspective? When considering spell casting, it is believed now that the real world is made of unseen energetic forces. This can be our consciousness, thoughts, will, and emotions. If you think about it, when you're down in the dumps, you are not motivated. You don't want to do anything. If this is as extreme as depression, you do not find joy in the things that were joyful. You don't want to get out of bed. That creates a negative energy that can be self-sustaining. It can create a learned helplessness, hopelessness cycle. I'm helpless. I can't do anything about it. That causes me to be hopeless. I am absolutely hopeless. I'm not going to act upon. But if you have that empowering song, if you have that inspirational impromptu encounter with someone, if there's a motivational speaker or something, that can fire you up. That can bring the light back into your eyes. That can get your brain going faster again. And once that happens, it's easier to shake off the negative. Yeah? It's easier to shake off the things that would have put you back in your bed again. That energy is momentum. That momentum is intention. That moves you forward to whatever that your goal may be. And maybe you don't even have a goal just yet, but that'll at least open your eyes to possible ones. All right, so real world made of energetic forces. Adding focused intentions to our thoughts transforms them into energy. So, we have a good idea, yeah? It's a good idea. I want to Write the great American novel. All right, that's great. Is it the thought that counts and you leave it there? Adding intention, focused intention, can change that energy. Great American novel, what does that mean to you? Have you written before? Do you have that ability? Do you have a particular voice? Do you really want it to be an American novel? Do you want to maybe set it somewhere else? What genre do you want to have it? Focused, specific, intention. The more detailed you can get in what you want, into what you're after, into what it is you actually need, the more chance there is that you're going to achieve it. And this is just a little boost. All right. We want to identify, increase, and direct the energy to actualize our intentions. Identify. What is it we want? Increase. Putting forth greater effort. Gaining stronger motivation. And directing that energy specifically to making that idea a reality. That is to actualize our intentions, making that idea a reality. Now, in this way, love spells invite positivity and connection. You're not trying to hex someone. You're not going with bad jujus against someone. You're wanting to strengthen this, not hurt it. You're wanting to connect with someone on a deeper level. We can get into the positive and negative. Negative is to remove something. My ex will not leave me alone. He is stalking me. I need to find a way that will work after everything that has failed for me. So you try to put a block. My ex was wonderful and absolutely broke my heart. But I can't stop thinking about them. I try everything I can and there's nothing. To try to find a distraction. You want to put a stop to these things. Positive energy. You want to bring something in. You want to renew the original love that you had with your partner. Your life is almost complete. You're just missing that one right person. You want to bring that in. That's an addition. So it's a positive thing. Now, with the love spells, this should just compel a certain individual to harbor romantic feelings for you. Hopefully you already know the individual. Hopefully you already have a connection. It's not creating something out of nothing. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But if there is a spark, if there is just the tiniest little light, even under a bushel, even under a barrel, this, setting that intention and acting upon in order to actualize or materialize it, can make the biggest difference. So you're wanting to push what is there. You're not wanting to change the person. You are not wanting to control the person or their feelings. You're not wanting to take away their free will. If this is this fires me up. If this is your intention, we need to talk. I know what it is to be obsessed with someone. That was long ago. I know what it is to have that unrequited, and it's heartbreaking. But what gain do you have? What do you get from trying to change the person, to zombify them basically, to change their will and their life? Do you know what is ahead of you? How can you put that upon someone else without knowing? The people I was stuck on, the crushes that I had, there are times I have learned I would not want to wish my life upon them, my moods upon them. There are cases when, what powers they be, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. These people, no, not for me. And no, say, senor, not going to happen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now, bye-bye. Change, that kind of change is bad. That kind of attempt to control is bad. Look within yourself to the source. Where is that need coming from, and how can you solve it in some other, more productive way? My personal opinion, based upon my experiences and my study of psychology. Okay, now back to our story. Rules. Do what thou wilt so long as it harms none. Remember that. Manage expectations. This is huge. I'm 45. Managing expectations seems like such a simple thing. It's not. If you stop to think about why you're disappointed in this little thing, why you had this irrational reaction to this encounter or lack of encounter, it's because you had some expectations. You had hopes. Hopes are expectations. Hopes can be a good thing. But the dependence upon them, the absolute surety that they're going to happen, can destroy spirit if they don't. So manage expectations in all things, not just magic, not just spells. All right, so let's look at that specifically. If you have a specific person in mind, you need to already have the strong connection and not try to transform who they are and how they feel. We've discussed that. You need to focus on inviting more abundance and love into the relationship with them. There are people that I love dearly, just like family. But that's a different kind of love than what was originally intended. But the love is there, and I will fiercely defend them. In this position, do I want to increase that? Do I want to alter that? And can I do so? Would I do so without altering that person? Do I need to be the change I wish to see? You need to keep in mind that a person unavailable in one realm is unavailable in all realms. If the target of your spell, pardon the choice of words, if they do not believe in that spiritual realm, if they do not believe in what you are practicing, they don't even have to know about it. In most cases, they won't know about it. If there is no belief, if there is no spiritual aspect to them, the physical will likely not manifest. And please feel free to disagree with me. I want to learn. I love to learn. I'm a lifelong learner. So comment. If I don't get to your comment now, I will as soon as I can. If I don't get to it during the show, I will sometime thereafter. If, this is more familiar, by the way, if they're unavailable in real life, if they're already in a relationship, especially a committed one, at least a happy one, do you really want to take that happiness from them? Do you really want to invite the ire and the threefold that you may get back that we'll discuss in just a moment? I had someone in mind for a long, long time, and they would go through various relationships, and that hurt because they knew how I felt. But I never would sabotage that, because that would also undermine my friendship with them. That would undermine every genuine chance at a real, trusting, romantic relationship. Keep that in mind. Again, personal experience. Your experience may be different. Let's see. They're not open to that. If there was someone else, you don't want to break up that happiness. Research connection patterns. What are you drawn to? All right, we talked about spell work, about magic. There are so many aspects to it. We talked a little bit about stones, right? In terms of stones, I am drawn to amethyst and hematite. I think hematite amplifies the power of things. And I'm not drawn to it, but it seems to be drawn to me. I keep stumbling upon a variety of tiger's eye. If someone in the comments wishes to tell me more about it, please, please, please. Now, when it comes to love spells, love magic, what do you think the stones would be? I know rose quartz is one of them. Regular quartz can also be used to amplify that rose quartz. Pink, red, these are the colors involved. If you are somehow fascinated by the moon and its phases, you'll want to explore each phase. The new moon helps you to begin something new, and the full moon is especially useful in discovering truths. All right, let's see. We are saying new moon. Whoop. Right here. This is when you don't see it at all. This is a blank sky. Full moon, we know. You see every little bit. There's going to be a mention of waxing and waning moons. Now let's see. Waning, aha. Is that waxing? Yes. Waxing, waning. Wax on. Wax off. All right, we got it. I may have to work on my pointer a little bit. Wax on, wax off, Daniel-san. There's a lot to learn. It has an effect on things. If you don't believe me, consider this. There is concern about the moon and its effects on the tides. The moon and the tides affect the weather as we experience it on this planet. These things, there's so much to it. These things can also affect the moods of individuals, especially, saying, women. We have our wonderful cycle, just as the moon has its cycle. You can discuss madness, early understanding of madness, of craziness, lunacy, those driven by the moon. Okay. So after these, we can look at days of the week, dates, looking at astrology, colors. What do colors mean? Pink, the love of friendship, platonic. Red is fire and passion, and it can just burn you up inside out, good or bad. Purple is royalty, probably fealty. Textures. There's work with textures, with which I must admit I am unfamiliar. Anyone familiar with magics, with textures? Please feel free to contact me. I'm very curious. Herbs. Lavender for calming and sleep. Chamomile for healing. Rosemary for remembrance. If you're uncertain of these, there's a bit in Shakespeare's Hamlet. Rosemary for remembrance. Crystals. We talked about the stones. Each have their unique properties that can amplify your spells. Be specific. You don't want to say, oh, all the powers that be now and before. I want love. I am lonely. I want someone. You might end up with a Labrador. You might end up with a stalker. Okay? Be careful. Be very specific about what you invite. And for the powers that be, I demand someone immediately. I am not going to wait. I did this, I did that. I checkmarked everything on the list, so now you must respond to this very vague request. You're going to end up with some leather-clad bear daddy, something. I don't even know. I'm just saying random words at this point. So be specific. Names. Do you know their name? Include that. Are you looking for a quick response for a one-nighter, or are you looking for a commitment? Are you looking to restrain someone who won't leave you alone, or to release those thoughts that will not stop? The more specific, the better. Be present in the moment. Meditative stuff. When you are doing spell work and magic, you are channeling a lot of energy. You may actually feel it physically as vibrations through your projection. Your senses are heightened, and you may notice small shifts in movement, temperatures, and sounds. This is likely, though not always absolutely, in response to the energy that you're sending out. Regular energy of regular everyday thoughts, more mild. Once you get multiple people on that same page, it does amplify. In the case of magic and spell work, you are concentrating. If you've had practice and you're doing it right, it's very intense. It reaches into the deepest part of your psyche. And you can remember things if it's someone in particular. There are just all kinds of things that can go through your head and your heart and your senses. There's sixth sense, but I'm not thinking of it in the movie sense. Ooh, M. Night Shyamalan, ding dong, I don't even know. But yeah, these are all things to be alert for. So stay present and alert thereafter also. Be alert to animals. If a certain kind of animal repeatedly crosses your path, or if an animal has never crossed your path before but does now, look for shifts, even minor shifts in relationships, not just the one that you're looking for to get or to get rid of, but other relationships as well, because it might be a stepping stone to where you're trying to go, or it might actually be a healthier replacement that you did not intend, but that the synchronicity of the universe determined was more appropriate. Look for patterns in words and in general and repeating numbers around you. Looking into numbers, that would be numerology. And numerology was back biblical days as well. 7 being the number of completion. 3, the Holy Trinity. 666, that is a few things. No, that's an entire lesson right there. Not doing it. You can't make me. Don't even. Okay, I really want to, but I'm not going to. So look for these patterns. These are hints. These are manifestations showing you that you have been heard and there is a response in progress, in process. Do not obsess. I obsess. I have serial obsessions. Not Captain Crunch. No bad connotations. I obsess over things and get sick of it and move on. Give it time. Your intention, your target. Give these things time and space and trust. Do you remember being of the right attitude and believing that it will work? Don't think about it all the time. Don't second guess. Notice the patterns and let it be. Let nature take her course. Spells can be harmed by desperation, fear, and doubt. Relationships are harmed by desperation, fear, and doubt. Your sense of self can do that too. If you are feeling these things, they can hurt you psychologically and physically. You think that's going to have a better effect on a spell? On your focused intention? Remember the rule of 3. The good or bad that you release into the world or towards an individual may be returned to you threefold in terms of repetition or in terms of intensity. Again, this doesn't necessarily have to just apply to magic and spells. Think about things in regular life. The more negativity you put out there, the more it seeps into yourself. The more positivity you put out there. Now, it's not always true. The strangest thing... thank you for indulging me. Please tell me to shut up if need be, but I really, really appreciate it. Recently, I was in a very dark place, and I gave in. I slept a lot. So the intention was not there. Something, maybe it was the dates, maybe it was other energy around, but something happened that put me into contact with people, and within the course of 48 hours, I could feel huge change. So the change can start within you, or it may be something outside. It can be faster, it can take time, but it's possible. All right, remember to focus on light, empathy, kindness, compassion, and warmth. What you put out there, you get back. The positivity, Norman Vincent Peale, Power of Positive Thinking. If you dwell on the bad, you're encouraging depression. If you fear the smallest thing, you're encouraging the anxiety. If you celebrate what you have, you encourage more. All right, so we have the history. We have the theory behind it. Let's look at what one can do, right? What we're probably most interested in. So 3 steps. Create the intention. What are you after? Invoke it through ritual. That ritual can be hands-on, verbal set of words, or mental visualization. And put the intention into action. Like you can open up that dating app. You can text that crush of yours. Step foot outside, something. Generally speaking, just a little bit of insight. Friday is ruled by Venus, the planet and deity of love in various forms. So it's a good time for love spells. Waxing or crescent moon. Lunar energy is positive, creative, attracting newness, attracting newness into life. Isn't that what you want? Do you want a kind of love that is not positive, that is not creative, and is just old? So these are things. All right. I'm going to give you 3 and then my own. There is the ribbon spell. It's exactly what it sounds like. So you have pink or red ribbon, depending upon if you want a more innocent love or a more passionate love. And then you want an obvious pair of things, whether it is bookends or shoes or salt and pepper shakers, whatever it is. So the suggestion is on new moon, just full moon, not so much in my opinion. So you designate one of the objects as you, one of the objects as your intended. How about that? Instead of target, we can use intended. You tie them together loosely with the ribbon, leaving good length between them. However far you feel you are from that person, that hopefully you already know to some degree. Every morning before the start, so that it has time to take effect, you untie them, bring them a little closer together. Tie it up again with a knot. Next morning, a little closer, tie it up again. You do this for a little while until the twain meet, until they are together, and you can tie it nice and tight, and you leave them tied together for another 7 days to meet or better connect with your intended. Something simple. If you want to say a few words, poetic or otherwise, you are welcome to do so. Simple. Rose spell. For this, you need rose petals, pink or red, and a source of moving water. If you are near, especially in your backyard, if you are near a natural source of water, like a river, a stream, the ocean, something moving, that is ideal. Anything natural is better when it comes to these things. Otherwise, hey, you have your tub, you have your sink. So what we want to do is visualize the ideal partner. I would recommend not just appearance. Consider what your needs are, personality, and maybe appearance. Be as specific as you can. You're not going to get exactly what you envision. Not that I'm thinking of Jason Momoa. You might get something close. The more specific, the closer you get. Visualize, mental. See them in your mind. See them interacting in the way that indicates intelligence, humor. Collect the rose petals together, all together. Throw them into the moving water that's moving towards you, not away from. You want to bring the blessing. You don't want it pushed away. You don't want that person to distance themselves further from you. So you throw all of them into the moving water. Actually, not all. Probably have a few handfuls. Throw them into the water moving towards you and say, as this rose moves out to sea, so true love will come to me. Do this twice, they say, or 3 times. Both are good numbers. If you want to rephrase that a different way, you're welcome to. These are not exact verbatim instructions. You will not fail a test. If you are practically inclined, go for it. If you are more practical, just, I don't know. The color of beauty, the smell of success. Bring them to me to have a rest. I don't know. Maybe a rest, not a good one. No. Let's move on to another option, the candle spell. This is more my speed. What do you need? A candle. If you think about the colors, you will know what color to use. White, purity, it can be used for anything. It's all purpose. Oddly enough, the opposite is not true. Black, I would not recommend black for all purpose. For a love spell, pink or red, again, white is also good. Although it's a bit more of a purity of love. Example, I have a big blue prayer candle. I'm not Catholic, okay? Big surprise. But blue would be calming. Just to give you peace. Maybe you've been upset about something. In this case, protection from the holier than thou. This is a great retail prayer candle. Now, mind you, it does not mean that you're going to get your revenge on the Karens. It is protection from. It means maybe that Karen's going to go to someone else instead of you. Protection from. So do not use a candle like that for love magic. I wouldn't even use it for advancement in career opportunity or gaining more money necessarily. No, I don't think I'd actually use it at all. It's just cute. Pay attention to your intention. Pay attention to the color. So you can communicate your will to the candle through words, dance, song, or thought. Then light the wick. Do you have a song that speaks to you, or a song that spells out your intent fairly well? Do you have a song that motivates you, that is related? What was that? There's the Swirling Eddies, but that's a Christian rock band, and they're funny. No, I'll have to look that up. There was a religious group, may still be, that does the twirling and twirling. They just keep going. If dance is how you connect to the divine, if dance is how you connect to yourself, dance. And light that candle. When the candle has burned out completely, your spell has been cast. I write poetry. I can sing a little bit. I cannot compose my own lyrics, but I can offer a poem to that candle while visualizing that person, while feeling the feeling that I want to share. Yeah? Maybe it's not even trying to improve the relationship. Maybe it's not even trying to get that person closer to you. Maybe you just don't have a chance to talk and you want to get that energy to them. You want them to feel what cannot be said. There are all sorts of uses for this stuff. All right. Whew. So we've gone through all the formalities. We're almost done. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you've learned a little bit of interest. If you have not, please let me know. If you have questions, comments, smartass remarks, I welcome it all. Here's my approach. Visualization, period. We're done. No. All right. Consider what you already have. What do you have that you love most in terms of relationships, since we're talking about love spells specifically? What do you have that you enjoy? What is most rewarding to you in a romantic relationship? And what is it you still need? You may be so close to happiness. You may almost have that white knight, but what's missing? Some things came to mind, but that'd be for a later show. Do you need a sense of humor? Do you need a cheerleader? Do you need someone who will bring home the bacon? Do you need someone who will let you lead? Let you lead. Acknowledge your lead. Go somewhere quiet and peaceful. Somewhere you will not get distracted or be interrupted. Meditate to clear your mind and block any distractions. I say that like, oh, it's so easy. I took a class in the psychology of meditation and another in the psychology of hypnosis. There's meditation and then there is self-hypnosis. These are different. And there's a lot to them and yet not. So I'll be happy to do a class on those as well. Maybe multiple. All right, but meditation, simply put, is focusing on your breath, clearing your mind. Do that first and foremost. The mind is a monkey. Remember, the mind is a monkey. You'll have some float in, just let them float right back out again. Your purpose in this is to clear it, to calm yourself, and to have greater focus upon your visualization. Again, visualization is seeing that person in your mind's eye, imagining what they look like, what they sound like, whatever it is that's most important, whatever it is that is missing and that you most need. With each breath, express thanks for what is good. Express a thankfulness. Encourage a thankful spirit or attitude for the good things that you have, for the good people that you have. I do not keep in touch with my friends, but they know that I love them because I do this. With each breath, express thanks for what is good. Once that is complete, visualize the words or image of what you still need. Do you need that embrace? Do you need escapism? Taking deep breaths, feel for the shifts in energy and temperatures that indicate that the energy has changed. Shifts in energy and temperature. That your intention is sharpening. That your attention is sharpening. That it is going out there. Stop when it feels right. That's why we had the candle option, because that gives you an end point. Maybe you can have prayer music, meditative music, a specific song or two that can give you a timer, let you know how much time has passed, but does it matter? Do you have a tight schedule so you have to keep to that? Or do you have an open schedule and it's a matter of degree of desire? I get serious about these things, but it can make all the difference. Your quality of life depends on many things that you don't even consider, in my personal opinion. And it can change quickly. Stop when it feels right. Notice any unusual opportunities. Do you have a chance to hang out with this person more often? Or is there someone else who is starting to appear and interact with you more often? Again, the animals, the numbers, the scent. Are you doing a spell that is related to an ex and out of the blue you have this waft of their scent? Maybe it was Adidas or something else. That's very specific memory. Teenage. That is a hint. That is something to help guide you, even if it's not intended, even if you had no idea it was going to go there. Now, we've discussed the history, the rules, some ways to go about it. I've shown you little short bits of how not to do it. It's mine. I claim this. Entitlement. There is a claiming of blessings. That is a way, but entitlement doesn't usually get you into the good books with the powers that be. Entitlement is not necessarily a attitude to foster. What is better is the thankfulness. My personal opinion based upon my experience as well as my interaction with others. Don't encourage entitlement. But, all right, so we had ways to go about it. Now, for those of us less spiritually inclined, less mystical, those who don't know about their ability level related to this, let's look at the psychological perspective, my specialty. And please, if you need me to go over anything again, let me know. And I say too much, I'll work on that. But this is an informal place. Feel free to express yourselves, though I must tell you if there are trolls, they will be dealt with. Okay. Psychological perspective. Optimism and positive intent. We discussed this a good deal today. Here we're talking about Norman Vincent Peale. Maybe not quite. My mother calls Norman Vincent Peale the late great nothing. He wrote book after book after book. There were probably movements based upon him. All of those books are yellowed pages now. It was practically just think positive thoughts and everything will be just hunky-dory. Now, there is a point. I mean, we've talked about that. If you're always negative, that's going to foster and possibly lead to the depression, the anxiety. If you're always positive, beware. That's Pollyanna attitude. But if you focus that positivity on your intent, on your magical practice and spell casting, that is the power. That is where the magic happens. Positivity, confidence, and those are the cornerstones. Carl Jung. Everyone's heard of Freud. That is another lesson within itself. Don't get me started on Freud. It's a little cigar, and a cigar is a cigar. Carl Jung, he concentrated on cognitive developments, on the psychocognitive, social cognitive developmental stages and how you might get stuck. These are a bunch of big words that mean absolutely nothing for those interested in love, magic, and spells. So instead, let's look at his focus on spirituality and synchronicity. Yes, do you remember? Is anyone old enough to remember the Police song, Synchronicity? Extrasensory synchronicity. Some good stuff. Now I'm going through their music catalog. Back to it. Synchronicity. What would be an easy way to describe that? Anyone? Bueller? Are you old enough for that reference? Synchronicity is... I should have looked it up. It's been a while. I have the basic understanding, but lack the words. It is happy happenstance. It is the good luck. It is the amazing timing of things to allow the progress. And if it's Jung, then it's the progress of the psyche. It is the progress of the individual moving forward to reach their maximum potential. Synchronicity is things happening together for a reason. And you can see how this can relate to spirituality and to, in this case, magic practice, spell casting. Spirituality. We've talked about how you can incorporate different aspects of different spiritualities into magic practice. I myself am a Gnostic Christian pagan. I'm eclectic. You might say I stole that from someone. I did not. I had it first. I'm older. But I am. Gnostic means it's about enlightenment, special knowledge. And that comes a lot with meditation. Self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis, you can learn about yourself. At the root of many, perhaps most spiritualities are the simple rules. Be honest, perhaps with yourself and with others. Treat others well. Try to be the best person that you can in thought and deed. Am I wrong? Notice I did not say all. And every religion has its rituals. Every religion has the certain intentions, yeah? And certain energies. When I was an addiction recovery specialist in a prison, I helped to lead something about 12-step program. As a child, I went to Al-Anon, Alateen, and with the 12 steps, part of it is belief in a higher power, clinging to the higher power, because if you name yourself as the higher power and you fail at anything, that's an excuse to backslide. That's an excuse to fall off the wagon or the horse and go back to your addictions, go back to the toxic relationship and invite that abuse. You need to believe in something beyond yourself. Maybe the potential of the human spirit above yourself in general. They say you could even believe in a doorknob. Screw that. What doorknob? I've seen some beautiful doorknobs and that's not happening. But something, anything, it doesn't have to be defined. And that in and of itself could be another discussion. What is the all? Shut up, Zen. These people want to go home. Or maybe they are home. Please feel free to have something to drink and have a snack. I should have let you have an intermission about 30 minutes ago, but we are just about done here. Predisposed, self-fulfilling prophecy. These words, by this I mean in doing the spell, maybe it's left-brained. Maybe you don't believe in this. That's okay. I'm not pushing. I'm not selling anything specifically. Maybe it is getting in touch with the inactive parts of the brain. Maybe it is reaching out to your higher consciousness, that higher frequency of energy. Maybe it's something beyond ourselves, but focusing to that degree with that much motivation, it can help just rewire the brain a little tiny bit. It can strengthen certain synapses. And the more you do it, especially in regards to a specific goal, you create new associations. You create new neurological attachments. You create that self-fulfilling prophecy. My goal is this. I'm going to get there. Forgive me talking about myself so much. Please tell me your stories. But for the longest time, I write poetry. I write nothing else. Oh yeah? Write a story for me. Yeah? Okay. I don't even know that I have a voice. I don't know where to start. So I strung some letters together and it became about 2 pages. And my friends are saying, continue, please continue. I will strangle you if you don't. I was doing the self-fulfilling prophecy that limited myself. I was predisposed to not trying. I reached out beyond myself and I put all my emotion into it. And words came back to me that haven't been there in a long, long time. This can increase your confidence. Spell work, magic, visualization. You don't even have to have all this stuff. It can get so complicated. You have to do it at this time with these words. Screw that. Like communion. It's the bread and the wine. It's about your understanding of them. It's about imbuing them with importance. You know, your favorite show doesn't mean anything to Joe Blow, but it's very important to you. The communion, it doesn't have to be the wafer and that wine. It can be part of your burger and your Dr. Pepper. Okay? Your spell, you don't have a chance to go to your altar. I've got a nice altar over there by accident. Not by accident. You can be in the middle of traffic. Please, not while driving. Okay, you're stuck in the middle of traffic. No, let's not use that. You're in bed, you don't want to get up. You're half awake, but you know something you desperately want that day. Visualize it. Don't let your mind get wrapped up in everything right away. But everything else go. Visualize that one thing. Keep breathing deeply. If we had more time, I would lead you through a meditation right now. But if you want that, come back. Please come back. I really want to hear from you. I really want to interact. Take care of yourselves and each other. Believe in yourself because I believe in you. I didn't believe in me. And here I am now. So things improve, things get better. Don't give in to that darkness. It would also help if this was charged. Have a good day. Good night. I most likely kill you in the morning. Bye, everybody.